Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Jane by Design. So today we'll be learning how to make a long sleeve pattern. I previously drafted a video on how to make a long sleeve, and that technique is different from this. I'll be showing you a different technique on how to draft a sleeve pattern. If you're new here, you're welcome. Kindly subscribe and also recommend this channel to your friend. If you like this video, watch to the end and also give me a huge like. Now on the screen you see I have all the measurements I'll be using for this tutorial, so ensure that you take your accurate sleeve measurements. And also I have all of my tools with me. Now the first thing we'll do on my pattern paper is to go ahead and draw a vertical line from top to bottom. Okay, this vertical line would be the sleeve measurement, that's from the shoulder to the wrists. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to draw a straight line from top to bottom, which is 22 inch on my measurement. And at the bottom, I'm going to be placing the wrist opening. The wrist opening is 9 inches divided by 2. That will be 4.5. So 4.5, you're going to have to share it equally by on the sleeve opening on the two sides. Okay, so when you share it equally at both sides, you have 2.25. So I'll place 2.25 on both sides of my sleeve opening to make it 4.5. So now that I've marked 4.5 on my sleeve opening, the next thing to do is to take our underarm measurement. So for the underarm measurement, you're going to place your ruler at the sleeve opening that is at the bottom of the sleeve, and you're going to measure upward. So I'll place my ruler at the sleeve opening, and then I'm going to measure what I have for my underarm measurement. So what I have on my underarm measurement is 16 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 16 inches on my vertical line. Now that I've placed a point of 16 inch on the vertical line, I'm going to square it across to create the elbow, the bicep line. So for the bicep, I have 13 inches. Okay, 13 inches. I'll be adding extra 1.5 inch for ease. That will be 14.5. So you'll be dividing that by 2. That will be 7.25. Okay, when you have 7.25, that is what you are going to be placing on both sides of the green line on the sleeve. So when you divide 7.25 by 2, that will be 3.625. So on each side of my elbow line, I'll be taking 3.625, and then at the top I will just go ahead and mark out a horizontal line. You don't need a measurement for this part, so I'll just go ahead and square out a line at the top. Now that I've squared out a line at the top, I'm going to be connecting from the sleeve opening up till the bicep line, and then up to the top of the sleeve with a straight line. So I'll just do that here, connect from the wrist to the biceps and up to the top of the sleeve. Now also do this at the other side of the sleeve as well. So now I've measured up from the wrist up to the bicep and the top of the sleeve. I've done what I did for one side of the sleeve on the other side as well. So the both part has been connected from the wrist to the top. Now that we've gotten this part, next thing to do is to get the midpoint of the top part of the sleeve. So from the point where we have the bicep line to the top of the sleeve, we're going to place our ruler there, and we are going to mark a point at the midpoint. So just go ahead and mark a point at the midpoint of that point where you have your bicep line and the top line. So just mark a point at the midpoint of both sides. Now after you've done that, you're going to have to determine which part you want to be the back of the sleeve and what part you want to be the front of the sleeve. So now I've gotten the part where I want to be the back and the front, and I'll go ahead and indicate that on my pattern paper. So I have the first part as my back and the other part as the front of the sleeve. So after we've indicated these 2 points, now we're going to go up to the back part of the sleeve, and at that midpoint where I marked earlier, we're going to go up by 1/4 inch upward from the midline of that line. We're going to go up by 1/4 inch at the back, and at the front, at the midpoint, we are going to come down by 1/2 inch. Okay, so at the back we went up by 1/4 inch, and at the front we came down by 1/2 inch. So what I'll do is the point where I marked 1/4 inch up at the back and the point where I marked 1/2 inch at the front, I'm going to connect these 2 points together. So you see that when I connected these 2 points together, it is not a straight line, it's kind of slanted on one side. Now you've gotten this, you're going to use your French curve now to be connecting that point to the bicep line. So the way I'm placing my French curve now, I'm connecting from the point where I marked below my midpoint at the front to meet the line at the bicep line. I will also do the same thing for the back, connect from that point where we went up by 1/4 inch to meet the bicep line. Now this is how to create the arm's eye. You know that familiar phrase you usually hear when drafting a sleeve, the arm's eye, the arm's eye. So this is how to create the arm's eye. Now next we'll do is to take our French curve again and then connect to the top of the sleeve from that point as well. So we'll just place our French curve like so, the way I'm doing in my video, and we'll connect from the point to the top of the sleeve. I'll do this for the front and we'll also do the same thing for the back. So now the arm's eye has been formed and created. So now to get the remaining part of the sleeve, we're going to fold one side of the edge of the sleeve to get the remaining curve of the sleeve. So now you can see the way that I'm folding in my paper exactly on the line that we have on our paper. So we are going to be folding it in, and what we do is to trace out that middle line, that green line we have on our sleeve, and also the curve we have at the sides as well. We are going to trace it up to the top of the sleeve. Now you can use a tracing wheel if you have one, or if your pattern paper is visible enough, you can use your pencil to just go ahead and trace directly. But I'll use a tracing wheel here, and after tracing out, I'm going to use my pencil and my ruler to mark out the part where I have traced onto the wrong side of my pattern. So the part where I have just traced out, which is the green line and also the sleeve opening, I'm going to use the pencil to make it more visible so that you see what the tracing is looking like. So now after tracing out, I'll use my ruler to mark out all the points. I'll also use my French curve, my armhole curve, to mark out the curve from the bicep line up to the sleeve head. So now I have done that, and this is what I have on one part of my sleeves. So now repeat the same process for the front of the sleeve. Same thing that I did for the back. I'll trace off. I use my pencil and my ruler to mark out the traces that I made on my sleeve. And after I've marked out the traces with also my armhole curve, I'm going to reveal what the traces that I have made looks like. So now after tracing off, I'm marking out all of the traces. This is what the sleeve is looking like. So now that I have this, now what I'll do now is to measure my armhole for the front and the back to ensure that the armhole for the front and the back corresponds with what I have on my sleeve. Okay, so after measuring for the armhole for the back and then going ahead to measure the same thing at the sleeve, at the back side of the sleeve, I had a bit of an excess on the sleeve head, okay, which is normal for your sleeve. Now if you have more than 1 inch excess on your sleeve head, you can go ahead and reduce the sleeve head, or you can increase the bicep line, depending. So on the back part I had like half an inch, and also I measured the front part of my sleeve from the bicep line to the sleeve head, and I had another half an inch, which sums up to 1 inch. So what I had on my sleeve is 1 inch excess, which is okay for the ease. So, and I also went ahead to place a notch for at the back, which I placed 2 notches at the back, and I placed 1 notch at the front to ensure that you know which part is the front and which part is the back. Alright guys, this is the end of this video. This is where we've come to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and recommend this channel to your friends. I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay blessed and remain positive wherever you are. Bye.